This episode of a Hero's Journey podcast is brought to you by West Coast Tattoo Parlor right here in Las Vegas. There's two locations. SMP Inc. Let them rebuild your confidence, and True Beauty by Trevor. My buddy, he's killing it. I'm really happy for him. I want to shout out to the Rock Rage Radio listeners out there. All the listeners, as they say, we are everywhere. So it's crazy. I found myself, I was just talking about how I started this podcast, and you never know who you're going to meet. And, I want to say it's like 10 years ago now, maybe 11 years ago, I had the chance to meet this amazing musician, and he's a friend of a friend. Tom Fletcher is a buddy of mine, and he's like, you got to meet this drummer. He's playing with me now, and Tom found his way getting the chance to, not getting, because he's a legend in his own right, but he was in his first band. And so we gave him his first shows. And next thing you know, the big opening here in Las Vegas, which brought me to Las Vegas, I brought his band to open up that night. It was epic, like red carpet event, big blowout show. It was very memorable. It sticks in my head. But this guy is super talented, and he brought his super talented better half. I'm going to start with him real quick, but Patrick Caccia. Right? I've known you for a long time. It's just Patrick, and it said drums in my phone for years. Dude, I'm not lying. Like, you made some great memories. Edward James Olmos was on the red carpet with us that night and on stage.
You know, it's funny because I just switched machines at the studio, and I ran into two videos, live performances of that very night you just talked about. Yes, and it was surreal because that was the first time that we actually took the band out. Yeah, and that was like at Red Rock. It was at
Red Rock, and we fans bought tickets to the show. They bought a ticket on a bus and a room, and we bust in the fans from LA. It was epic, and all that. I had somebody professionally shoot that. It's on a hard drive of that night, and one day I want to cut that together. Yeah.
But we speak about that night often with Tom and Mikko, remember? Almost. And it was magical because that was the first time we actually took it out. Yeah. And then we saw so many people that were not even from here. You know, just follow you guys.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And the inspiration was all over the place, So, and that's when we looked at each other and like, I want to do this all the time.
True story. So, but it was so special. Yeah. And that's what brought me to Las Vegas. And that's a couple of years later, I ended up moving here. But go ahead. What?
And then we ran into each other the day that I moved here.
Yes.
At the grocery store. I'm like,
that was wild.
Yeah, that was weird. It's like, is in LA? What? Yeah. That was cool, man. It was a good, life is funny how the full circle,
And I think you live over by Randy Couture in his neighborhood.
I don't know where I live now. We moved.
Oh, you moved. Okay, because I've been to your house.
We're southwest. Southwest.
But I want to get to your better half. We got to get these cameras off of us and on this beautiful. So, Jlynn, oh my gosh.
Hello.
It's hello. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me and Patrick on your podcast.
Oh, of course. Of course. This is so cool. I ran into you guys the other night at Monday's Dark, the 10-year anniversary at the Palms. Yeah. And it was a big night. That's a big thing, giving back to this community, through entertainers doing that for our community, which was really cool. And it was my first time seeing.
You know what? Our first time at the Pearl there.
Okay.
For their anniversary show.
Have you played for them at any of the?
Actually, just recently.
Really?
So, yeah. And it was benefiting Opera Las Vegas.
Okay.
And it was the music of Queen that night, which was, epic.
Yeah, of course.
Freddie Mercury and everything.
Yeah.
I did Show Must Go On with
incredible.
The singer Stephanie Calvert.
Okay.
And the band.
Stephanie Calvert. What? I know that name.
I think she sings with Starship.
Okay.
Ring a bell
great
at
singer.
All? Yeah. She's got pipes.
Powerful.
Oh, amazing. So I want to tell me about you, because we'll get to him in a second. But but where are you from?
I'm actually from San Diego originally. Okay. Then I went to, I grew up like West Coast and was down there, then moved to LA for college. I went to USC, Fed on.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And spent 8 years in college studying violin.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm classically trained, so I got my bachelor's degree in violin performance. Then I got a master's degree, and while I was doing my master's, I started playing Baroque violin. You're probably like, how did you get to that?
Right.
So Baroque violin, but while I was doing my master's also, I was asked to go and perform on a tour in Australia on electric violin. And I had an electric violin and I like dabbled on it here and there, but I never really did anything like crazy with it. So on this tour, it was like the first time I ever used effect pedals, and it like blew my mind. Was like, distortion, what is this? Like, oh my God, my sound is so cool.
Right.
Like, and it just opened like this magical like world in my mind. And all of a sudden it was like I was obsessed with effect pedals. And I came back from that. We auditioned for America's Got Talent. Myself, a girl on drums named Maytal Cohen.
Okay.
It's popular on YouTube. And then another girl in LA there, Christine Wu was her name. And we did what did we do? Well, we recorded a video of Toxicity by System of a Down. That was our audition video, and they wanted us to go on and play. And so fast forward though, like there were technical difficulties, problems. They ended up not sharing our segment just because it was no good. But
really?
We threw our video up on YouTube.
You didn't win?
No, ratings.
Good for you.
All about ratings. So we threw it on YouTube because we were like so bummed out, like what the freak happened?
Right.
Because when we did our sound check, I remember the audience was like so hyped, and when we came back on for the actual like audition, the judges were annoyed because the whole audience wouldn't stop clapping because they were like, these chicks are cool.
Wow.
And we were like, yeah. So we threw our video up on YouTube because we were like, whatever, we love what we do. So we threw it up. It was like 40,000 views, it jumped. And this was back in the day when things like actually went organically.
Right,
and you didn't
right.
Pay for
you didn't have to pay
market.
for anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it started jumping around and it started getting on all these like internet things. And people were like reaching out and wanting us to do like talk shows and things. They were like, is this a one-off? Are you guys a band? And then I don't know what happened, but we didn't get our stuff together because it was literally like we played that for the first time ever.
Right.
And we were like trying to do something. So the drummer went off and doing her own thing. I created a band called The Violution, or I should say a project. Because at that point
this is it right here?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's actually how I met Patrick, is I rented his studio in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
I had Glenn Sobel from Alice Cooper.
Glenn, you know Glenn.
Glenn's, but he was my first drummer in Paperback Hero when I started my band.
Awesome.
Glenn came in.
Remember
and did
when we did also rehearsals at my studio in LA with Elvis Monroe?
Yeah.
Remember? Yeah. So that same spot, I had all the drums, and Glenn wanted to do this.
Yeah, I didn't know
session
I didn't know where to record, and Glenn's like, you got to use Patrick's studio.
Yeah.
He's got like all set up, and
when she came in, she just rolled in with this 50 pounds like freaking paddleboard and stuff.
Right.
Oh yeah, I
when
had
she
a big
plugged
old
in,
analog
I
board.
was just like, what?
Wow.
Yeah, I wanted to be involved instantly as soon as I heard the first note. You know?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And that was a playland. I had been to your studio there.
Yeah.
With the loft
Oh,
and
totally. No windows.
Yeah.
dude, it was like I
Yeah.
could lock myself in there and just write and record and do
Yeah.
it for days, kind of thing.
Yeah.
When I walked in there, I went,
Yeah.
Yeah,
this is where I
very
want to
cool
be.
studio.
She did that for a few days. She stayed like 12 hours a day, and
It
actually
was like an all day thing.
everyone was on the floor, and she was like,
Let's go.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
like, come on.
Okay, so Glenn Sobel was playing with you, and then who?
Yeah,
yes.
and Marty O'Brien on bass, who's now at Daughtry.
Yeah,
was
he's with
Lita
Daughtry.
Ford for a
Right.
while.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but then we recorded a number of songs, and it was just going to be a recording project at that point. I moved to Vegas because I started playing with a band at the Stratosphere for a few years, and I kind of fell off the wagon of my Violution project, and then Patrick called me for a record that he was working on in LA, and it was like perfect timing because I just finished what I came to Vegas, like I stopped performing with the band, and I went and basically Patrick had me move to LA and focused on this record. I played strings on everything. Patrick, you want to talk a little bit about that record?
It's our buddy John Spicer. Shout out to John Spicer.
Yeah.
It was on John's record?
It was on John's record.
That record's awesome.
So I went back to LA for that record, and that's when the Violution, he revived it. Patrick revived it.
It took us about a year, to finish that record. And it usually, as you get to the end of the record,
I went to the rap party too.
I
was there.
Yeah,
with you guys.
yeah.
I was there with you
Was
guys.
that the bowling alley?
the bowling
Oh my
alley.
God, it was Johnny's birthday.
Right.
It was his birthday. I went there.
Yeah.
I gave John his first road gig. I'm
did?
like, hey, I'm playing in Vegas. I'm doing the M, and I said, I want you to open. And that's when Matt Nelson was on bass then with us, and we came out here before we got our residency. We came out to do a gig, and he's like, my manager is like in jail or something, right? And he's like, I can't go.
Oh my God.
I don't. He was 20 years old, and I'm like, no, you're gonna get in the car. Trust me. Just trust me, and I'll take care of you. And he got his own hotel room. He got paid. He got to do his first road gig, and he never forgot it.
How cool.
And I was introduced to him by the manager, who was our pro guy at Guitar Center,
Dave.
Dave Weiderman.
Dave Weiderman, dearest friend.
Yes. So Dave called me one day and said, you got to come see this kid. And I'm like, I'm cross town. I was over in the Valley. This is in Hollywood. He goes, no, he's going to be here. I want you to meet him. Yeah. And he goes, this kid grab that guitar, write the song, play Brian the song that you wrote when you were 13. And I'm like, holy shit. Like you wrote that when you were 13. Anyway, so enough of that, but we're still friends. In fact, he played on my new record. John Spicer played, and he sang some on my new album that comes out this year.
Full circle right there.
And stuff.
And he sang some harmonies. And
so
things.
she did the entire arrangements for the strings on the entire record, and played all of the instruments on the record, like violin, viola, cello. Because Tom wanted somebody that was versatile and could also
a badass. Wow.
So, but at the end of it, I was like, I don't know what are we gonna do? It's like, at the end of one record, you're like, what's next?
Now this is over.
I mean? It's either you take it on the road or, and John's, we didn't take it on the road, as you know. So I just was like, oh, so you have stuff in Vegas? Let me come to Vegas and produce the record we started years ago, because it was at the same stage where we left it, where she left it. And I loved it so much. You know? So I was like, I come to Vegas, I just produce that, and you have your gigs, so I don't have to worry about the artist getting busy doing other stuff. And next thing you know, now we have 2 unreleased records.
Really?
Yeah.
2, not 1, 2. That's just
so
that's just one.
That's an EP.
That's just like a business card.
Okay.
Yeah, there's 5 songs on there, and then there's like also behind the scenes stuff on like a DVD with like video and promo.
And for the record,
like
she's unsigned. So she's got 2 unreleased records and unsigned artists. So.
And can you get this online?
Yes, you can.
Where can you get it?
At theviolution.com/shop.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. And you know what? Before we get into it, because I want everybody to know how badass you are. Will you play us a song?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So Patrick said and then afterwards you can talk about this real quick.
Sure, yeah.
But the song that you're going to play is because this is right after Christmas.
Yes,
Christmas just happened on Monday.
Yes,
So, but New Year's is around the corner. So this is still the holiday season.
Totally. And you know what? What an excuse to just rock out. It's a metal version. It can be played literally any time.
And it's what song?
Carol of the Bells.
Okay. Yeah. So we're going to step away and let you just kill this. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Do my thing.
All right, that was awesome. I was on the floor. I was screaming. I was sending video to my girl, and she probably couldn't hear it because it's all electric. I was killer. No,
that's right.
Here's the thing.
She heard the undistorted.
Exactly, undistorted version.
It's hilarious because if you were to listen to me without hearing the headphones, it would just sound like a puny little, like, not amplified violin with just.
Yeah, exactly. But this has 6 strings.
Yes, it has 6 strings.
And it was like connected to your neck.
It's cool because it's got a little system where it's got a stand where it holds up against my my rib or something like that, and then I got a strap that goes around me, and so I don't have violination, which is like the most annoying and ugly looking thing when you're playing the violin, when your chin's like pressed up against the chin rest. Ugh. Yeah. I've always been like, violination. I hate that. Like, they got to get rid of that. And ta-da! This violin does it.
So, did you have this specially made, or was this something that they make?
No. This is a commercially available.
This is something they make,
violin.
but there's a lot of elements that could be improved, and hopefully there's a way to bring in more awareness of it, and then evolve.
Can you hold this up? Because I want to see this real quick.
Well, I'm a girl, so I have like smaller hands than dudes. So I feel like this particular instrument is it's got a very, very thick neck. When you play a 6-string violin, it's very, very wide because you got 6 strings and it's natural spacing, not like closer together.
I see.
So this part here, it's like long and then it's really thick. So that sounds bad. That sounds dirty. But yeah, so
I'm gonna save that, and that's my ringtone. Yeah.
It also has frets on it, which. As a like classical violin player, you don't really need, but it actually works out for the 6 strings because when you get to that low F, it's just like, okay, whoa, that's a really heavy gauge string, and I got to make sure I'm hitting like the right spot,
Okay.
So that's like, it definitely helps for there. And
we like to call it VTAR, VTAR.
Oh,
well, because of the way that I play it.
Trademark by me.
Yeah, Ricky Bobby. Ricky Bobby.
Yeah, VTAR, because I play it like a guitar,
Yeah,
so
you did. That was amazing. That was really cool. So, and now you have this.
Oh, and by the way, on the track, it's just that VTAR. Drums and bass, that's it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because there's some people that heard it and it's like, you guys forgot to credit the guitar player. Who is it? And I'm like, there ain't none.
Yeah, how cool.
Yeah, because I use an amp modeler. I'm going to give a shout out to my guys over there at Fractal Audio.
Okay.
That's my amp modeler that I use, and it's totally badass. You can go in and like tweak little things here and there. There's like presets, but Patrick and I work really hard on the tone because it's such a...
Well, because it's made for guitar.
Right.
Yeah.
So the impedance and all that stuff is just not the same.
You got to tweak it. Otherwise, it's just it can sound too harsh, or it can sound like not... Like electric violins, if you just plug them in normally, it's like it's got this... how would you describe it, Patrick? That DI kind of like...
Well, I don't know. The only thing that I can think of when you talk about the technology is that we use the technology to enhance our performance instead of the other way around.
Okay. Yep.
You know
exactly.
What I mean?
Yeah.
So we just make it work for ourselves. It wasn't designed specifically for
Exactly. So, and that's kind of what, Hero's Journey podcast. This is waking up the hero of your own story, right? Doing your own thing. Being the CEO of your world kind of thing. And it's, what are you going to do with it? And you took all of this schooling and you didn't take I'm going to go be in the symphony and, do this and go to New York or whatever. You're going to chase your own, that feeling I saw you light up the moment you said, you went, what effects? Whoa. Like it took this, what you were taught, and just opened it.
Yeah, no box. Like the box opened, there's no boundaries. I can do whatever I want on that thing with my effects. And it's like, it just opens up a world of possibilities. And, Patrick and I were having this conversation. It's like, when I was a young girl, I looked up to like other women that were performing with orchestras. But for me, like with what I do now, it's like the guitar heroes of like I don't want to say back in the day, because it's difficult, like when you have somebody that you want to look after, like today, because it's a lot of pop and it's a lot of stuff like where it's I don't hear a lot of guitar solos, except for a shout out to Nuno Bettencourt of Extreme on his last single Rise.
Right.
Holy crap, that solo's badass. But you want to have somebody to look up to that like is your inspiration and your hero. And so with the Violution, it's like I want to do that for not just girls or like women, but for anybody, where it's like you want to do something and go out there and chase after your dream because it's possible.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
I love it.
And
That's
just
a
like-
soundbite. That's amazing. And I watched you play it, and you look like a guitar hero, but it was like right here.
Violin hero.
Yeah, and you were
Guitar hero.
exactly. It was sexy. It was like it just. That's you got to find your niche.
Exactly.
You got to find your thing, and the thing that you can't live without. You and I were talking about that on the phone. Mm-hmm. It's not about chasing the dollar. It's not about chasing the fame. It's about
that helps too. But
no, it really helps. Trust me.
But definitely, yeah. I mean, it for us it became like there has been so many hard moments. Pursuing this unusual career path, you know, because how do you pitch it? It's a rock band, but then they see it. I'm like, you can't pitch it because there's nothing out there like it. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not like your traditional look. There's a chick with a violin playing rock metal. Mm-hmm. How do you sell it? It's just a rock band. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
You know? But the point is that there's so many hard moments that then I go like, Jen, maybe you should just, you know, just get a job or something. And she's like, well, what's that? That's not a good message for anybody.
No,
man.
it's not.
Because it's like, first of all, it's a sign. If you keep going, if you're doing something you really believe in, and you love, you can't quit.
No.
You just cannot. It morphs into different versions as you grow. Right? So for us, it becomes, now it's becoming like this mission of never, ever give up.
Yeah.
If you love it, you can't, because if you do, then that means you are putting yourself in the back seat.
Exactly.
And when you do that, then depression arrives. Then everything starts falling apart. And you know what I mean? If you quit, then that means you just didn't like it enough,
right?
Or you didn't love it.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know, so and there's so many fans now reaching out to Jlynn and the Violution that it becomes like you have to be the light in a world that it's so fast these days that it's very difficult to find your path, because it's instant gratification, instant everything.
It's hard to find the way to,
you know. And on the other
connect.
hand, here's the other thing. Music business, and I'm pretty sure everyone here and outside of here, the millions that watch this, is probably the last, financially, probably the worst business you can be in.
Right.
However, it's probably the most influential business that shapes societies all over the world. For example, tell me, would Apple be Apple without music?
Oh.
Right.
Would
No,
Apple,
no
the
way.
company, be the
Yeah.
$1 trillion company
Yeah.
today without the Beatles and the influence that they had? No. The answer is no.
The iPod.
Right.
Cultures are defined by music. You
Right.
go to different states, different countries, it's the music.
They didn't even speak the language, and music.
So it's a huge
Yeah,
responsibility
exactly.
Music
we
is
all
a
have.
universal language. It
Exactly.
Really is.
So
Yep.
it's not just about rocking out and doing all. It's not about that at all.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's about all the work behind the music. That's the real work, which is life.
Yeah.
Music is just a vehicle to just throw out your joy and say like, hey, look, you know. And man, is it hard?
You. I understand that 1,000%. You know.
Our good Tom Fletcher, friend Tom Fletcher, said to me one day, he was like, man, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it.
True.
And from that night, I was like, I'm going to wake up and kick some, you know what I mean? And just do the best I can at all times, which is all we can do.
Wow. Well said. Well said. So what's next for you then right now? What do you got going on?
We actually just wrapped up a song last night by ELO.
Oh, nice.
Duya.
She'll be performing this live actually on New Year's Eve on national television through Wonderama. Because she just signed. This is the first announcement here with new management. Shout out to MD25 Entertainment, John Velasco, Bob Golden in town.
Okay.
They're taking the challenge to come on board with the intense machine of the Violution.
I love it.
And,
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. And 2024, it's go ahead. It's what?
It's gonna be the best year ever.
That's amazing. Awesome. Congrats. So you're playing it again. Where are you playing it?
It's going to be broadcasted live. I think it's through Times Square Alliance, and I think it's actually going to be broadcast live there where the ball drop is.
Okay.
There they got a screen and everything.
No way.
Yeah. So, and I think it's actually like what is it? Like they got a marathon going on there of like performing and things like that. So we're really excited to be a part of it. And I Wonderama is a great, I think. It's a television station, actually, television. And it was crazy because I was talking to my grandmother about it because she's so proud. I love you, Grandma Sally. She told me that Wonderama actually existed when my uncle was like a child and my mother too. And she said that he actually went on Wonderama and he like as a little boy and he won something.
Oh,
I was like,
wow.
are you crazy? What is this like? Wow, what a coincidence.
And it's a beautiful
Nothing
thing
is
because
a coincidence.
It involves kids a lot.
Yes.
And
Kids
that's
and family.
And that's future. And actually, we just got in a message from a 13-year-old that saw her heard Bad Horsey from Steve Vai. She covered the Steve Vai tune.
Okay.
Which
it's actually
is
on.
not easy.
It's actually on the stream.
Legend.
Do you have it out? Do you have it out?
Yes, it's actually on Spotify.
Okay.
People go visit our Spotify.
It's a single that she released on her own. And so there's like 10, 13 years old going like, I want to learn the song. Can you know?
She wanted to learn my version.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's really
a fan
cool.
was telling me, my daughter, she's 13 years old and she wants to learn your version of Bad Horsey on violin.
Congratulations. That's what it's all about. That's amazing. Wow. How cool. I'm sitting here with my jaw dropped because even in the hallway, I heard you talk about, you played with Aerosmith.
Yes.
You played
I
with
did.
Journey just recently. Journey
Yes, actually, we both, Patrick and I, put together the symphony orchestra for Journey here in Vegas. We performed at the Coliseum and at Resorts World.
Was that for the last 3 years, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. We started in 2021.
Congrats. That's
Thank
so
you.
cool. Now, and here's the thing too. And it's wild. I was at Steve Darnell's house one night. He was throwing this party and it was like post-COVID, like people just starting to come out, and he throws this party like right on his property, like no one could, whatever. And Ashba's there.
Yeah.
My buddy Ashba, DJ Ashba, and I'm hanging with him, and then he turns to me and says that he's doing a video. He's like, I just cut this song for his GDM, which is like EDM with guitar-driven, EDM
Guitar,
music.
dance music.
Exactly. And so he said, he's like, you wouldn't know, like, I need a hot, like, violin player. And I'm like, yeah, I do. Like that fast.
That's true.
He goes, I can't believe.
I remember.
He goes.
That's so
you
cool.
do? I'm like, no, I promise you. I promise. let me check right now. He goes, I go, when you shooting? He goes, tomorrow. I'm like, what? And so, and then I went to the. It was a Christmas song that he did.
Yep.
This was last year.
A Christmas Storm.
Exactly. And or was it last year?
Year before.
Maybe the year before.
Yeah, year before.
Year before.
And he threw a party, a small release for it, and I was there, and you were featured through the whole thing.
Yeah, and it came out so
Yeah.
good that he's actually like every year he's coming out and he's got a great comeback. Like people are engaging.
I love sharing it.
That's
when I see
awesome.
it. Yeah.
I loved
thanks
being a
for
part
that,
of that.
man.
Of course.
Thank you
Of
for
course.
passing it on.
Of course. That's what it's all about.
That was actually, I was very excited to be on your podcast because I watched a few episodes.
Oh, thanks.
And the message and what you're doing, not just for art in general, it's just for people that have a calling or a dream or a wish.
Yeah.
A wish. To just even just talk about it, it helps tremendously. So what you're doing is fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you
I
for
appreciate
having
that.
us.
Thank you.
I mean?
Yeah,
Thank
thank you
you
so much.
Yeah, no worries. And I don't mean to cut this short, but wow, this has been awesome. You guys have been great. I want to get to your next song.
Yeah.
You got another one? Wait a minute.
Yeah.
The one we wrapped last night at 2 a.m.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I was
Good.
like, hey, 1, 2 songs. You know, you literally said we'd play the whole time if you wanted us to.
Yeah.
Not we, but I mean,
Well,
yes.
that's Patrick on the drums that you hear.
Yes, and that's what I know your style.
And he mixes everything, and he's engineering everything. He's basically the reason the track exists. So
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's important to know that there's just bass, drums, and guitar on everything you're gonna hear. There's no other overdubs.
It made me think of my old roommate, and he's like a brother to me, is Torrin Green, and he sang in Fuel. He was a singer who followed Brett, but he went out on the road with the German band, Apocalyptica.
Yeah.
So he went out on the road with them for like 2 years.
I think they're Finnish. I don't know.
Are they?
They're from Europe somewhere.
Yeah, something. But
they're awesome.
He had to do a song in German. Is one of my points. So he had to sing in German, on one of the songs.
Very cool.
So he would get up there and sing like 3 or 4 of the songs. He got to do like some of the Tonight shows and things like that with them.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool. And then another guy.
They're cellos.
They're all cellos and they're all electric.
They're killer.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what kind of, when I heard this, I'm like, oh, that was like the only connection that I could make. But that's like 5 guys or so, whatever it is, up there, playing like that. And what is his name? And I feel bad because he's singing for them now. He's somebody.
Frankie Perez.
Frankie is a badass.
Yeah.
Frankie is amazing. I hit Frankie and was like, Frankie, would you come on the show and do the podcast? And he's like, Brian, I'm in Europe right now singing for Apocalyptica. He goes, but when I get home, done. I'm like,
cool.
That would be awesome. So awesome. He's a badass. But let's get to your song, and then we'll wrap this up. And I want to, so I can't wait. The song again is
Do Ya by ELO Jlynn.
Done. Let's go. Sheesh. Nice job. That was sick.
Yay!
Wow.
You good, Jen?
Yeah, I'm good.
That was so cool.
Awesome.
Alrighty, I'm gonna cut this.
Dude,
Man,
yes.
you were.
Okay, that was fire. And I can't believe you guys did that last night.
Yeah.
You just threw that together. You
2
jumped on
a.m.
the drums.
2 a.m.
Who played the bass?
I did.
Yeah, actually, he did.
You're a drummer who can play bass.
Well, I don't really commercialize that.
It's my PV bass that my dad bought for me and my sisters when we were gonna start our own band when I was like 16.
Oh,
it's like
nice.
this PV red and white Fury bass from 19.
I don't do sessions on bass.
But I envy you guys to have a studio at home.
Yes.
To be able to do that.
Yes. Very, very
Oh
grateful.
my gosh.
Thank you, Patrick.
Yeah.
Very grateful. It's just like setting up your bed when you move into a place. Like I have to have it. Otherwise, I feel like there's no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's something missing.
Yep.
No, it's like when you move houses, the first thing that you do is you got to set up your studio.
Set up
right,
studio
Patrick?
and then
As I said, you've been
That's
in
the
LA.
priority.
Yeah.
Like that 1,200 square feet. I packed it and I brought it here. And then I'm like, if I put all the stuff in the garage, the car is not going to come in.
Right.
So I started just setting up stuff in the. So we have
Wow.
like a mini production in the house.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Good for you. Good for
Yeah.
you.
Hey, Brian,
Yes.
I remember the question I wanted to ask
Oh,
you
yes,
earlier.
please.
So tell me, how did you get the name Elvis Monroe?
Oh, wow. Elvis Monroe. The short version is Matt Nelson is the original bass player. He's still a part of this. He plays with me whenever he can. He sings on all the records. He saw me play at Universal Studios. Okay. Yeah, Matt Nelson. He's one of the twins, Ricky Nelson's son. He saw me play at Universal Studios. He turned to his then wife and said, "This guy reminds me of Elvis."
Oh my God.
On stage. And I went, he
Whoa.
did. He told me later, we were passing. He was leaving a radio station. I was walking in. I said, "Matt Nelson, I jumped the fence to see you in California one time. And I waited on you when I was a waiter." And
Oh
he
my
goes,
God.
"Nice to meet you, Elvis. We'll talk another time." And I go, "My name's Brian." He goes, "I'll tell you another time." So when I saw him like a couple months later, he told me the story. And then maybe we became friends. And over about couple years, Jay Rustin is producing my record for Paperback Hero.
Very cool.
And Matty got hired. He was supposed to be hired, but then he's like, "I'll just sing on it. I love these songs." He sang on the whole record for me.
Aw,
When I
love
started the
it.
project, Elvis Monroe, Ben and I, it was our idea. He said, "Can I be a part of it? I have the perfect name." And we went, "Sure. Like, what's the name?" He goes, "I'm going to get people to call you Elvis." He goes, "Elvis Monroe. We already have a Nelson in the band, like, American pop culture."
Right.
And he goes, "So that'll be, people are going to call you Elvis." And I'm like, No, they're not." He goes, "Yeah, they will." And they do.
Oh my God.
Because they don't think my name's, they see
Yeah,
Elvis
yeah.
Monroe. And
they think it's
then
your
all
name,
the
yeah.
stuff in here is gifts from the Elvis Monroe Mafia.
Oh,
I haven't spent a
cool.
dime on any of this. This is all gifts to
Very
me.
cool.
And I haven't put it all out. There's stuff at home. I have a room that's
Paperback
Elvis.
Hero.
Yeah.
You know, great things are from communities, not from individual.
Exactly.
individualism,
Wow.
right?
Exactly.
I love it.
Right
What
on.
a cool story.
Yeah, so that's where the name came from, and it works. And I got to share this because it's a crazy funny story.
Sure.
It happened to me, and then we'll go. But I'm at the House of Blues here in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
There's a girl sitting there. I'm eating with her, just a friend of mine, and she takes off. This beautiful girl walks by with her friend and says, "Hey, Elvis." And I'm like, "Hey." All I say is hi. She walks back. I get up to leave, and she calls me to the table. And she goes, "Elvis, I want to introduce you to my friend." And I go, "My name's Brian. I'm sorry." Like, she goes, "What?" I go, she's like, I love your music." And I'm like, "Thanks. That's the band's name." I go, "It's kind of like being in a band called Hootie and the Blowfish." And I feel somebody walk up on me right here. I go, "And they call you, and your name's Darius Rucker." I go, seriously, it's like being in a band called Hootie and the Blowfish, and your name is Darius Rucker. He was right there. And I go,
What?
and he's like, "And they call you fucking Hootie." He goes, "I got called Hootie twice coming in the door." He hugs the girl that I'm talking to.
No way.
He hugs the other girl because he's meeting them, and he's meeting the girl, and he goes, "Well, so what is your name?" I said, Brian. Oh my gosh, I've told that story, like I've told that, that reasoning of that so many times, and I'm literally getting to share it with you. And he laughed, and then he goes, "Eat with us, sit down." And I'm like, "I'm good." I sneak out.
Oh man.
I'm like, "Thank you, it's nice to meet you." I leave. I come back because I left my credit card, and he sees me and goes, "Get over here." I go over, and he goes, "We just got some hors d'oeuvres. I'm gonna eat one so I can say I had a meal with you." And then he goes, "Give me your number. Give me your number." I'm like, "Okay."
That's awesome.
Swap numbers. Flash forward. He's doing a show. He sees me. I'm sitting at a table at this radio show.
Yeah.
And he goes from the stage, "Meet me after the show." And so I meet him at MGM and sit at the bar, and we just talk music for like an hour, and it was just super cool.
So
We've been friends ever
That's
since.
so awesome.
All from Maddie, Maddie giving us
Oh my God.
But anyway, I want to thank you guys so much for being a part of this. I hope you had fun.
This was so fun.
Yeah?
I really loved it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you for having us, truly.
And I want to thank the Chief Nerd Travis is back
thank
there
you. Yeah.
running the show.
Travis!
Travis is the reason why this place is as amazing as it is. Sticky Paw Studios is like our own little family here.
I already followed them on Instagram.
That's
I got
awesome.
you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Stop it.
You can rent this place out by the hour if you're a podcaster out there and you're in Las Vegas or you're just passing through. You can contact Sticky Paw Studios. They will, you can find the time, find an hour or whatever your needs are, and you can rent out this place by the hour here. And Travis and John Orlando put this place together.
No, this is place to be. No,
Yeah.
we felt at home
awesome.
immediately.
Without a
Really?
doubt. I've had some really great
Yeah.
sit downs with people in here, and it's a great home for me. I even take pride in I painted the hallways here.
He did.
I did.
I love
You
it.
painted it blue.
Yeah.
Honestly, we need to have evidence.
Yeah, I did. It was like so that way I felt like I really
Yeah.
did something as a part of this place. But
So cool.
but I want to thank you guys, Jlynn,
Thank you for having
Patrick.
us.
Thank you. So
Yeah.
go check this out. Can you get a close up on this? Boom. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Violution. All right.
Yeah.
Again, thank you guys for coming in. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. It's
Yes.
Happy New Year at this
happy
point.
Right in the middle.
holidays.
Yeah.
Exact holidays
that
that cover it
encompasses
all.
it all.
Yeah,
Exactly. Don't want to be canceled. You know? All right. So I want to shout out to my sponsors real quick. West Coast Tattoo Parlor, SMP Inc., JPS Computers, and True Beauty by Trev. My name is Brian Hopkins. This has been another episode of A Hero's Journey podcast. This will be the last one before going into the new year. So I hope everybody had a great Christmas. I hope you had a great holiday. I hope you have a great new year. And I hope this inspired you just a little bit. And contact them if you want to learn how to play like that or just be inspired. All right?
Yeah.
See you guys.
All right.
Ciao.
And I believe it's coming around to me.